the path to the cabin turns out to be a complicated one. We've been making twists and turns through the trees for a few minutes, but Morgan seems to know exactly where she's going. Not even the dark can stand in her way. You can navigate through all this with just that little lantern? How can you see landmarks?
Don't worry, I know these woods better than just about anything. Besides, the moonlight is more than enough for me.
I can't help but feel embarrassed as I think about all the times I had to use the flashlight on my phone just to find something I dropped in my car. I definitely wouldn't last out here. Looking over, I can see Tara bouncing her leg, probably about to launch into a torrent of questions for Morgan. After that flubbed introduction, she's clearly a little less gung-ho than usual, but I know that won't stop her. As such, I should probably get my handling of the actual adult stuff out of the way quickly before it gets lost in the noise. Is there anything about the town or the people that we should know? Local customs, things to avoid saying, that sort of thing? Morgan thinks about it for a moment, silent.
There's a curfew at midnight. Also, you're not supposed to go too far into the forest. I ignore both of those rules a lot. Most of the villagers tend to be sticklers about them, though.
Great, so our host is a troublemaker. I guess that means Tara will be in good company. So, while we're on our way, could you maybe tell us about some of the specific supernatural occurrences you've seen out here so far? Here she goes. Morgan sits up at the question. She looks over towards us, and her eyes seem to lose a bit of that constant drowsiness. She's been waiting for this.
Well, we have a lot of freak weather events. Strange storms that appear and disappear, or are localized to certain parts of the forest in ways that shouldn't be possible.
Tara nods solemnly, already totally enraptured in what Morgan is saying.
Sometimes, when I walk in the woods, I can see strange lights here and there, like tiny little stars in the forest. I've never been able to get close to them, though.
I raise an eyebrow but don't say anything. We've had countless cases of strange lights before, all of which had ended with a rational explanation. That doesn't seem to tamper Tara's spirits, though. I start to drift off. This is more Tara's jurisdiction anyway, so I'm sure they can just wake me up when we get there.
There's also my cat.
Your cat is a supernatural occurrence?
She can talk, so I'd say so.
Her words snap me out of my trance. Looking over at her, I expect to see her holding in a laugh or sporting some kind of mischievous grin, but her face is as serious as it's been since we arrived. Your cat can talk, like the way a human does?
Yes, she's very well spoken, in fact.
I try to hide a sigh. Weird weather and lights in the woods are ambiguous enough that we can play along with them, but every so often we get these blatantly fake claims too, like a talking cat. Tara, however, instantly perks up once her words sink in. She can't actually believe her, right? So we could talk to her? She won't mind if we ask her a few questions, right?
I was hoping you'd ask. I think you'll be very interested in what she has to say.
The whole thing is clearly some kind of joke, but Tara is absolutely taken in. I can practically see the wheels turning in her head as she plans out her follow-up questions. That's never good. So, do you have any idea about what could be causing it? Something in her diet, maybe?
I don't think so.
Have you been feeding her some kind of special Eysenfeld cat food? Can I try some? Okay, I think that's enough of that. When Tara starts talking about eating cat food, it's time for me to exercise a little diplomacy and move the conversation forward. Crazy or not, I think we should move on. So, what kind of things does she talk to you about?
Just about our lives, for the most part. I figure you'd be better off hearing it from her rather than me.
I'm sure that'll be illuminating. I'll say, if there's something that paranormal in the village itself, you must have seen way crazier stuff in the woods. She starts to gesture as she talks, pointing back towards the village and swinging her arms around as she mentions the woods.
Well, there's one pretty major thing, but you probably won't believe me.
I wouldn't have come out here if I didn't believe you. Anything you have to say, I want to hear. I can't detect a hint of cynicism in her voice. Either she really believed this girl she just met has a talking cat, or she's giving a performance worthy of an Oscar.
Are you sure?
110%. Lay it on me. She winks at her and flashes her finger guns. Back in celebrity mode. Tara's good at recovery with these things, but I've never seen her recover on this level with such speed. But as I watch her lean in towards Morgan to make sure she catches her next statement, I realize another possible reason for her passionate response. If there's one thing she loves more than hearing strange stories, it's trying to impress a cute girl. Now things are starting to fall into place a bit more.
Well, one of the main reasons I called you out here is, I'm not sure if it has a name, but it's some kind of forest spirit.
Spirit? Like a ghost or something?
No, something physical. Some sort of massive creature. Like the forest came to life.
Okay, this is new. Even the crazier fans don't get this outlandish. But Tara is absolutely eating it up. No matter what her reasoning is, I'm glad she's having a good time. Is there anything else you can tell me about it? Does it speak or anything? Have you managed to interact with it at all? Is it more kaiju-sized or more basketball player-sized?
I've only seen it once, unfortunately, so I don't know too much about it. I've searched for it a number of times since, but without any results. Who knows? Maybe you two will have better luck than I have. That's what you're best at, isn't it?
In terms of talents, I'd say it's certainly up there. Morgan's mouth turns up into a small but seemingly genuine smile, and her expression grows slightly less intimidating.
I knew you'd believe me. Nobody else around here does.
I can't imagine why. I feel a pang of guilt as that thought crosses my mind. As crazy as her story sounds, it can't possibly be easy feeling rejected in a community this isolated. No wonder she was so eager to bring us into the fold. So, how far away would you say we are from the cabin?
We should be coming up on it any minute now. I'll help the two of you get situated and then head back. I'll be happy to tell you more about the spirit tomorrow.
Thank God. Oh yeah, great. That's great. I'm exhausted. That much isn't a lie. All I want to do right now is pass out. We've passed the last of the houses that I can see, but the sparsely marked path continues on towards the forest. The last traces of civilization are behind us now. By any minute now, what exactly did you mean? I can't keep the biting tone entirely out of my voice.
Just ahead, see?
She points forward into the darkness. I strain my eyes to see anything other than murk. Finally, I spot the faint outline of a small cabin practically swallowed by forest.
I started the heater before I left to get you, so it should be warm.
That's what I like to hear. You're like Prometheus. I'm surprised you know who that is. Why? I loved that movie. Morgan suddenly jerks the reins and the horses come to a stop. Tara and I are rattled from our seats and nearly fall forward.
Damn it.
What? What happened? Rather than answer, Morgan just glares into the darkness where the cabin is. I strain to see what she does as my heart starts to race. Is it a wild animal? A bear? Wolf? There's the sound of footsteps as a shadow detaches itself from the cabin and moves towards us. A human shadow. An older woman comes into view, stopping just at the edge of the lantern's light. She's clearly related to Morgan. Her angular features and steely eyes, barely visible in the dark, make her look like she stepped out of a Baroque painting.
Why are you here?
I came to greet our guests. She spits the word our, clearly asserting some sort of ownership. I suck in an involuntary breath as she approaches. Being able to see her more clearly isn't a reassurance. If anything, it's the opposite. Something about her radiates hostility. Even the horses seem uncomfortable, their ears pressed back as they stamp their feet in the snow. Up close, her gaze is sharp and fierce. Her face is proud but sunken, cheekbones jutting as if her face doesn't quite fit. It makes her look older than she is. Which of you is Tara? Mouth drawn thin, she looks from me to Tara and then back again. Each second that passes makes the discomfort grow. I keep waiting for Morgan to intervene, but she doesn't. Tara and I exchange a quick, nervous glance, then she clears her throat and leans forward, offering a handshake. That's me. The woman regards Tara's outstretched hand for a moment and ignores it. Welcome to Eysenfeld. My name's Evelyn, the mayor. Who are you? Her attention flicks to me like a hand on a clock. I'm Maddie. Madison, Tara's manager. I see. It's clear that she's judging us, though I have no idea on what.
Are you done yet? They're tired. You can interrogate them later.
Just what exactly is she volunteering us for? Interrogate is kind of a strong word. Our host makes absolutely no effort to disguise the loathing in her voice. In a town as small as this one, I can't imagine that speaking to someone as important as the mayor like that is a good idea. Though Evelyn appears entirely unfazed. She remains at the middle of the trail, blocking our path. She and Morgan stare each other down while Tara and I sit in painfully uncomfortable silence. After at least a minute, the mayor finally steps out of the way and heads back up the way we came. We'll speak later. It's clearly a command, not a request. The carriage sits immobile until the sound of Evelyn's footsteps are lost to the night. And even beyond that. So, she seems nice? Her statement seems to snap Morgan back into the present. Morgan flicks the reins and we begin moving again. She turns around to face us, looking genuinely apologetic.
I'm so sorry about that. I thought she'd at least wait until tomorrow. I'd have some time to prepare you beforehand.
Is she your mom?
Technically. What? No way. How could you tell?
The family resemblance? Morgan purses her lips.
Unfortunate, isn't it? Long story short, I didn't tell her that you were going to be staying here until this morning.
I'm speechless, hoping that it's just a joke and the punchline fell flat. But Morgan's clearly serious. For the second time in a handful of minutes, I'm wondering what we've got ourselves into. Tara laughs, though I can tell it's forced. Well, that's no big deal, right? It's not like she runs your life. Right? Eventually, Morgan nods.
Right. We shouldn't get into this right now, though. I'm sure you'd rather sleep tonight.
I can see Tara gathering the breath to disagree and tell Morgan that we'd love to hear all about her family issues right now, so I head her off. Yeah, we would. Whatever family drama it is that she's gotten us involved in, it can at least wait until I'm not about to pass out. The carriage comes to a stop just a few feet away from the door. A small stone path has the snow cleared away from it and leads to a short flight of stairs. We're facing a large window, although it's dark and impossible to see into. Morgan vaults out of the carriage, nimbly landing on her feet.
I'll unlock the door. Your luggage already came in too, so it's inside.
Tara launches herself out of the carriage just like Morgan did, and then she quickly scurries away from the patient horses, eyeing them for any sudden movements. I climb down as she stands an extremely safe distance away. I can't carry all this on my own, you know. I toss her bag and she lurches to catch it, barely keeping it from landing in the snow. We stand back and watch as Morgan fiddles endlessly with the lock on the door, pushing and trying over and over. Now that we're close to the end, I can feel the last of my reserves of energy rapidly draining. The bags in my arms feel like they weigh 1,000,000 pounds. So what do you think? She mutters as quietly as she can, though her timing couldn't be worse. I think I want to go to bed. Same as ever, then. You know me. Rubbing my arms, I peer into the forest. Just beyond the first few lines of trees, everything fades into an inky blackness, thick and impenetrable. I shiver, not entirely because of the cold. A cool breeze rattles the empty branches as they scrape against each other, mimicking the way I'm trying to stay warm. Finally, there's a banging sound as Morgan solves the mystery of the lock and nearly falls through the door. She pokes her head back through like nothing happened.
I got it open.
Hallelujah. I haul my way inside and into the blessed warmth. It's been so long since we've been near a working heater. A small lamp on the side table casts a bit of light over the small room. Our luggage, as promised, is scattered haphazardly across the living room, just like home. Tara slips past me to bounce around and examine it all, her bags hurled as carelessly as I pulled them out of the carriage.
Oh my god! Holy shit! This is so cool!
There's nothing really out of the ordinary, so I just stand there and wait for her to get it all out of her system.
Isn't this the coolest? It's like staying in a history museum.
That's the kind of thing you'd usually treat like a punishment.
Are you kidding me? I love history. We even did that whole series on the history of cryptids in the American Midwest. And I spent like 3 months on that special about Bigfoot's impact on the Great Depression. That's one of my favorite episodes. I had never heard of the theory that FDR was a cousin of Sasquatch. To be fair, I don't think FDR did either.
Morgan laughs and I just roll my eyes. I mean, the kind of history that actually happened.
History's doomed to repeat itself, Mads.
I don't even respond. That whole episode felt like the plot of an awful, low-budget B-movie. Instead, I cross the living area towards a tiny hallway with a pair of identical doors. These are the bedrooms?
That's right. They're the same size, so there's not much of a difference.
Guess I'll take this one then. I push open the closer door. Inside, it's just 4 walls with a bed, a shelf, and a small dresser. I drop my bag on the floor and roll my suitcases in. Tara lingers in the living room, talking about the features of the cabin with Morgan. Suddenly, I hear her yelp in pain or horror. I rush back out, knocking over my suitcase and nearly slamming into the door as I go. I half expect to see Morgan holding a bloody knife or something, but instead, Tara's just holding her phone. What happened?
A tragedy. Actually, worse. The apocalypse. Check out your phone.
I do as she says, expecting a news article or an alert or something, but there's nothing. What? I don't have anything.
Exactly. No service out here.
I check. Sure enough, she's right. There isn't the barest trace of a signal at all. What about Wi-Fi? I assume we have that, right?
Technically.
Oh no. I stocked up on books and downloaded a bunch of new films before we left, since I wasn't expecting to have much connection out here anyway. But I'm willing to bet the thought never even crossed Tara's mind. Good thing I packed a few books I think she'll like too. Tara glumly pockets her phone again as Morgan gives us a small smile.
Let me give you the quick tour.
I don't think it's entirely necessary, since we can see everything ourselves, but I don't stop her.
This is the kitchen. There's a stove and an oven. The stove is somewhat picky and doesn't always like to work. Actually, I guess it's the same for the oven.
Don't worry, I don't know how to cook anyway.
Over here is the fireplace. I can show you how to chop firewood sometime if you'd like.
I think I might pass on that one.
This is the couch. You can also sleep on it if you'd like. It doesn't unfold into a bed or anything, but I sometimes come here and sleep on it anyway.
That doesn't even surprise me.
The Wi-Fi password is on a note by the phone. So is my phone number, so you can reach me anytime. Do you have any questions?
I shake my head and look at Tara, who does the same. I think we're good. Thanks for all your help tonight, Morgan.
It was my pleasure. Again, I can't thank you enough for coming all the way out here. I'll be sure to make it worth your time.
I'm sure. Can't wait to get started.
Me either, but I should probably be going for tonight. I've kept you up long enough as it is.
She heads out the front door, waving goodbye. Night, Morgan. Thanks again. Good night. Through the large window we can see as she starts to make her way towards the path. I'm going to bed too. Yeah, same. We switch off the lamp as we head to our respective rooms. Tara grabs her bags from the floor where she tossed them. Alright, see you in the morning then? Yeah, night. I shut the door behind me and she does the same. I sway like a zombie as I stalk towards my bed. It takes the last of my strength to dig my pajamas out of my suitcase and change. There's a window here that looks straight out into the forest. The first thing I do is pull the curtain shut. Crawling into bed, I face away from the window and pull the blanket up to my chin. It's heavy and warm, and I wrap it around myself like a burrito. The bed is firmer than I'm used to, and the pillow thinner. There are like 3 other blankets though, so I ball one of them up and use it as a second pillow. As I try to get comfortable, my thoughts start to drift off. The detached part of me is glad that the timing worked out well enough to avoid jet lag. And in all, aside from the Wi-Fi, this is pretty nice as far as accommodations go. Especially since we're not paying for it. It seems strange that Morgan would come all the way out here just to take naps sometimes, but I can already tell that most of what Morgan does would be considered strange. Strange but harmless I don't mind, but when I think of her mother, the mayor, a chill runs down my spine and I bundle myself even more tightly in the blankets. I should give her a second chance though, especially if she didn't have any warning about our arrival. It stands to reason that she'd be annoyed at Morgan renting out her family's cabin like that. When I think of it that way, her reaction seems pretty justified. I'll just be extra polite to her next time we meet. Hopefully it isn't an interrogation like Morgan said. That was probably just her being dramatic. I yawn, wishing sleep would come faster. I expected to be out before my head even hit the pillow, not lying here with my thoughts racing. I try to block out everything and focus on my breathing. In, out. In, out. In. A loud tapping on the window cuts through the silence. My heart leaps to my throat as I bolt upright in bed. I get tangled on the blankets, scrambling to haul them off me. With one hand, I desperately feel for my glasses nearby. I finally find them and shove them onto my face, nearly jabbing my eye out. With horror, I look to the window, the one that made me uncomfortable from the start. It's Morgan. Lantern in hand, fist raised against the glass. She stands there patiently. If she knows what kind of emotional roller coaster she just put me through, she doesn't show it. Shakily, I walk over to the window, not even switching on the lamp. With some difficulty, I wrench it open, disturbing a small mound of snow. Yes? It's the best I can manage. Anything longer, and I'm not sure I could keep it civil.
Sorry, I forgot to tell you. Please be ready by 8, and I'll come pick you up.
I just blink, unable to comprehend what I'm hearing.
Is that okay? We could make it 8:30, but no later.
No, 8 is fine. Is that all?
That's right. Have a good night. Sorry if I disturbed you.
I slam the window shut and hobble back to bed. She doubled back in the snow and scared the hell out of me for that? I check the time on my phone. It's nearly midnight. 8 hours to sleep and then be ready to go. It's going to be a long month, isn't it?